What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, the Sofa King himself.
Yeah.
I was trying to make a Chair-Opian reference.
Right?
It's Jeremy King.
Howdy! And sitting next to me today, and always, is Brian Paul. Yay.
I'm so glad you're clapping. No one out there is doing it.
They all do. They're at home probably doing the same thing.
Oh, highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dip into the PSVR archive. We pull out a game at random. We play the crap out of it. We talk the crap out of it.
Yep.
And then we tell you, the loyal Gamecast,
Meow.
it's worth your time.
Yep.
Being said, Jeremy, what game did we decide to play this week?
Trover Saves the Universe.
Trover Saves the Universe by
Yeah.
Squanch Games, released May 31st, 2019. Not a terribly old game.
No.
For $29.99.
Mm-hmm.
Created by Justin Roiland, one half of the creative duo of Rick and Morty.
Yep.
You a Rick and Morty fan?
Never, ever have I watched it.
That's shocking to me.
I know. Everybody tells me
Yeah.
it seems like it'd be your humor.
Because this entire game
Yeah.
sort of revolves around a specific sense of humor.
Big time. Yes.
Before we even dive into how the game plays or what kind of game this is, we'll do
Yeah.
that in just a second. Don't
One
you
more.
worry,
Just wait.
sir or madam. What did you think of the sense of humor in this game?
All right. Toilet humor.
It's toilet humor.
Yeah. And all right, so I found it to be hilarious. I found it to be super funny, although, like, a little bit too much. Like, if you played it for too long in one sitting, the humor gets a little old.
Yeah.
So you had to come back, and it's humorous again, in that sense.
I feel like Justin Roiland's sense of humor
Yeah.
is very much if I just keep talking,
Yeah.
eventually this will be funny
Yeah.
school of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, before this they made Accounting Plus.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And Accounting Plus, when I first played Accounting Plus, I was like, oh my God, this is driving me insane. Just stop talking so I can think for a second. Let me try to figure out this puzzle.
Yeah.
Whatever, and just, let's do this. I didn't have the same reaction with this game.
Yeah.
With this, I was able to jump around. I was able to explore and look for power babies. I was able to kill enemies.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot to do while these jokes were just like being forced down your throat.
They just keep going. And that's what's great about it, where it keeps going. And I found it to be definitely funny.
Yeah.
But again, it goes on a little bit too long sometimes, where you can't skip ahead or jump past certain dialogue unless you just initiate things.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and especially if you're stuck on a puzzle of some kind.
Yeah.
There's the one outside the castle gate where you're trying to build a wall.
Yeah.
And the two guys watching you just like make fun of you nonstop.
The whole time. I thought it was funny, though.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Until you're like, man, it's taking me way too long to solve this puzzle. You're like, can you guys just be quiet for a second?
There's no loopovers either.
No.
That's the one wacky thing. I'm talking the history of. I'm not talking VR gameplay. Voice acting for the history of my gameplay.
Yeah.
This is one of the best because I don't think it was scripted whatsoever.
Oh, I don't think so at all.
Extremely improvised, and I just found it to be very unique. Each character had their own. Even though the personality was, let's just keep talking. It's going to be wacky sexual stuff and a lot of F-bombs. But
a lot of F-bombs.
it gave you the right to be, I always have that feeling of the right to be juvenile.
Sirens on our end, of course.
Yeah, they're coming to get
always.
us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Is that you can be stuck in an area, stuck on a puzzle, or just taking your time looking around for collectibles.
Yeah.
And if there are NPCs talking to each other, I mean, you could easily be there for 10 minutes and just
At times I didn't want to progress it.
When is this going to loop?
Yeah.
Is it ever going to loop?
You want to hear what they're going to say, and they keep saying some insanely risque shit, too,
Yeah.
And I forget one of them's like towards the end where he's like, or she was saying how she was being stroked, and it was like either a giant penis or a labia, and it's like, what? Like it's funny, but it's also like, wow, I'm surprised they dished that much raunchiness into one title and didn't get slapped by people about it.
Yeah, it's probably the most mature but most immature game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all that out of the way, what kind of game is Trover Saves the Universe?
I'd say it's a platformer. Puzzle platform game.
Yeah. Kind of hack and slash elements too.
Yeah, a little hack and slash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you play as two characters in this game,
Yeah.
right? So in first person,
Yeah.
you're holding the DualShock 4,
Yeah.
and you're playing as a Chair-Opian, which seems, I mean, it just seems wrong. I don't know why it seems wrong.
I know.
It almost seems because I feel like I feel like that in some way they're always making fun of some minority, or they're always making
Big time.
right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, are you making fun of handicapped people right now?
I know.
Are you making fun of people who are in wheelchairs?
Right.
And they are, but they're not.
Yeah, they are, but they're not. Yeah.
Right. So it seems weird from the get-go.
Yeah.
But you in first person are bound to this chair.
Yeah.
And it's sort of their workaround for having like a VR camera.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, by making you the camera, you as an actual person in the game, now we're saying, hey, you can teleport to these nodes.
Yep.
You can lift your chair up and down.
Yeah.
You can turn using kind of click turning.
Yep.
And it all kind of feels natural.
They did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hate click turning, and I hate teleportation. And this game just does it in such a natural way.
It's so odd because it didn't feel like you were stuck to teleportation movement because you could move Trover around.
Right.
You know, so you were moving him around while you were stationary, and you can see him drifting off way in the distance. Once he gets to that node, you can right to that node, and then you're next to him again. So in the click turning with the chair, I don't know, it all worked very well, you know?
Because it does. It feel even though you're a character in the game, you
Yeah.
you feel like you're the camera.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, you're also controlling Trover.
Yeah.
And that controls way more like a Astrobot or any kind of platformer.
Yeah.
Just use the analog stick, run around. Obviously, the X button jumps. The square button swings your weapon, which is a lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's like what lightsabers are making a real weird comeback
Yeah.
in non-Star Wars related properties.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And they unfold all these added abilities.
Yeah.
The babies you stuff in your eyes.
power babies.
The power babies. They, give you more abilities as you go, but they don't make you wait too long. It's because the game's not too long.
Yeah.
But it's like...
How long did it take you to beat this?
It was under 4 hours. 3.5. If it was... Dialogue was probably an hour and a half of the game.
Yeah.
So gameplay, it was probably 2 hours, but yeah, I'd say about a total of 3 hours and 45 minutes.
I would say I think it took me around 5 hours to beat this.
Okay.
Because
Did you go hunting?
I went hunting a lot for Power Babies. Power Babies, by the way, the collectibles in the game. Interesting way of collecting them. It's similar to Astrobot.
Yeah.
You see them in first person,
Yeah.
and then you just hold down R2 to... Exactly.
Right to you. Yeah.
There's something addictive about that. I mean, for people who like collectathons like I do, if you're not into that stuff, then you're definitely going to, plow through this a little bit faster than I did.
Yeah.
If you don't hang out and listen to the dialogue that Jeremy and I listen to, plow through it much faster.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, when I start asking people how long did this game take you to beat,
Yeah.
people say anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours. And so that's like a huge gap.
That is a huge
know,
gap. If you plow through it, I can see that totally being a 2-hour game.
Absolutely.
What's neat about the Power Babies, and when you view them, it's like they're not obvious. Sometimes you'll look at an environment, there's nothing, and then one of them kind of pops up and then goes back down. You're like, wait a minute, there's one. And that elevating the chair mechanic, at some levels you'll see one, and higher other levels you'll see the other one. So it's such a simple gameplay mechanic. Just raise and lower the chair height, but it adds so much depth to the platforming.
It does. And sometimes, so often, I would forget that I could raise my chair.
Yeah, and you'd be like, oh yeah, he'd remind you.
He
you
would
can raise
remind
your chair. What do you?
Right?
It's great in that sense.
It is really strange, and what I love about this is it seems on the surface so straightforward. Yeah. I'm gonna run around. I'm gonna kill enemies. I'm gonna collect Power Babies. I'm gonna make my way through this Jack and Daxter like level, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to make some really critical decisions.
Well, see, I wonder if they're decisions, because I just went the violent path, so I want to hear. Yeah, go on.
Well, you can make decisions, right? But neither one is ever very good.
Yeah.
Right. There's never a clear cut. Hey, this is the best thing you can do in the game, and this is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, yes, but it's all awful.
It is all. You see, that's the one thing I've known about myself, and the one this game's taught me is that if I have abilities, I will be a villain.
Yeah.
A bad one.
Right.
I'll just kill. So I mean, like, I don't want to give away spoilers, but there were at times where I'm like, oh, that character's going towards that cliff if I keep doing this. And then I, you know,
see what happens.
Do it. I don't even listen to what he's saying, and I'm a murderer.
Yeah.
You know?
So a lot of times you can hang out, like we don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but you do get to knock a house off a cliff.
Yes.
Right? And that's an option.
I did that option.
It's like, do you want to succeed in your mission?
Kill all the
yeah. Or do you want to take the path of I said neither one is a good choice.
I didn't even know what the other choice is. I just killed everyone in that home. Yeah.
But and then once you've done the awful thing, you of course find out that you didn't need to do the awful thing. Is also they find the hilarious ways to make every critical decision even funnier.
Yeah.
I just think it's really well written. Like from that perspective.
Yeah.
Even though the dialogue does seem to be all improvised.
It's like the movie Michael Douglas Falling Down, where he's like he thinks he's the good guy at the end, and he finds out I'm the bad guy because he's going around just killing what he thinks is bad people. You know, he's just murdering. It's like this. I'm going around. I'm like, I'm saving the universe, you know? And it's like, wait a minute. But we're like just like killing villagers, and we're just like knocking clearly people in wheelchairs off of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was that guy's name? Doper? The neighbor? I thought he was funny too.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
But again, there's this element, and you gotta put all of your, I don't know, like, I mean, if you're really concerned about political correctness, you just got to put all that aside for this game and really just enjoy it.
Just play it, have fun.
Because
nobody's looking.
They're making fun of people constantly.
Oh,
and it's
everybody.
Like, I can't believe that more people haven't gotten upset about this game.
Yeah.
But I was laughing pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was wondering. I'm like, this is totally not Brian's humor, any of it. But I was wondering if you'd.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked because again, after playing Accounting Plus and really not getting it until my second playthrough. My first playthrough, I was like, I hate this game. Literally hate it.
Yeah.
And then my second playthrough, I was like, oh, you know what? This is kind of funny. And I started getting into it and enjoying it. So when this came around, basically, AJ was like, do you mind if I review it? I was like, it's all yours.
Yeah.
I have no interest in playing this whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so when I finally get around to playing, I was like, oh, I was totally wrong. This is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
But there's actually like a game there this time around too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, hey, we're throwing a ton of jokes at you, but we're also throwing a quality game too.
Yeah.
The graphics in this, you can play this in VR or out of VR. And what I love is when you're in VR and you're controlling Trover, you can bring him right up next to you.
Yeah.
So he's in VR, he's giant. He's
right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right? And he's just a big purple
thing that's
blob with arms and legs,
balls,
but there's something so tangible about him. He's like you feel like you could just reach out and touch him.
I feel like he's a real character out there now. You know what I mean? Like he had such personality.
Yeah. Oh, even though very vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dug that character. Mm-hmm.
The entire thing is strange. The universe that they created is so nonsensical. It seems like they said, hey, let's write a story for a video game. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that they came up with was what they stuck with. They were like, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, so you're a Chariopian and your dogs were stolen and the enemy's named Glorcon.
Just when he introduced himself, I'm fucking crazy. You got my dogs in your eye. Yeah. You know, it's like, wow, this game is funny. And it's this type. I remember my first time turning it on. I sat there and I played for close to 2 hours my first time playing it. That never happens. Yeah. I forced myself to stop to go to bed because I was enjoying it that much. Then I was like, I wonder if this humor would wear on me the next time I play. And then I played it some more, and I'm like, yeah, at times, but still not too bad.
Yeah.
And then the third and the final playthrough, when I played it through, it's like, at times I just wanted the dialogue when I was in the pod to end so I could progress and not hear I forget your boss's name with the slingshot head.
Yeah. Did you play the DLC?
No.
Trover's Important Jobs.
No,
Trover's
I did not.
Important Cosmic Jobs. So it takes so here's the thing. The cool thing about what Squanch Games did with Trover Saves the Universe is that they said, listen, we're not going to lower the price as time goes on.
Okay.
We're going to keep this game as $30, but we're going to basically keep throwing free DLC at you as long as it makes sense to do so. And that way, instead of charging for DLC, we'll just keep it's free. We'll keep the game $30, and they were very vocal about that. I was like, I like that transparency when they say this is our business model. This is what we've decided to do. It's very much the I expect you to die business model. It works out perfectly. So this is the first batch. They actually had they actually had. I guess you can't call it DLC, but they had this thing where it would change Trover to Joppo.
Which one was Joppo?
Joppo's a big yellow character, a little taller, a little more slender.
Oh, was he the one we stole the? Well, I don't want to give away things.
No, not give away anything.
Yeah.
And so there was that, and then, but that wasn't like real DLC. That was sort of like this cool little thing they just kind of gave us for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And then after that, they gave us Trover's Important Cosmic Jobs on October 8th, as promised, for free.
Okay.
And I mean, I think it took me about 2 hours to get through that.
Oh wow.
Because you're running around Trover's workplace.
Okay.
The lightsaber's been disabled.
Okay.
You know, this is definitely more of like it feels more like a point and click adventure, even though it plays exactly the same way.
Okay.
And this is again one of those things where I feel like they didn't say, oh, well, we don't have any more game to give you, but we had a ton more jokes.
More ideas.
Right? So what's the best way we can do that? And the best way is by exploring his workplace, finding more power babies, and just, I mean, it is just loaded from top to bottom with tons and tons of jokes.
Yeah.
You know, the janitor can't find his toolbox. You're going to go find his toolbox, open a door. It's simple puzzle solving. But man, it was a great excuse to dive back in after having not played for a few months.
That's a good idea. And I didn't know they had that business model to them with the free DLC, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's in my book, it's a great business model.
Yeah.
If they keep delivering the DLC,
give you reasons to keep going back, you know, because if you collect all the Power Babies, there's no real reason to go back besides collecting those.
No,
because the jokes are going to be the jokes. It's going to be the same thing.
What percentage of Power Babies do you think you collected?
I don't know. Wow, 65% of them all, I would say.
Yeah. As I progressed, I started collecting fewer and fewer. You know, the first world, I spent all of this time
trying to find them all.
I was like, I gotta find them all. I need to. The collector in me needs to find every single Power Baby. And then I was like, this is taking a long time.
Yeah.
And so each world, I spent less and less time looking around.
Well, it's funny even with that, because he's like, they're like a drug. I'm so high, you know, and it's like they're so wrong. Everything they say is like the Power Babies make them like stoned, you know.
Yeah, nonstop like weed references.
Yeah,
nonstop,
constantly. Yeah.
Power Babies are drugs.
Yeah, drug and sexual references, everything, and bathroom humor. Those three things, all of it.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Just so oddball. So I would love to know how much of this was just, hey, we're our first idea is the idea.
Get into the studio, just record shit, you know. Because they just fuck up the words and keep rolling with it. You know what I mean?
They do stumble. They stumble. You can tell.
Yeah, big time. And I love that, because when I see movies that are somewhat improvised like that, they're the best. I find the most humor and the most spontaneity and the characters' reactions is when the script is a little more open ended. You know, like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I found it to be pretty funny too.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Should we rate this?
Yes, absolutely.
I think we got it all covered.
Yeah. All right. So the rating scale.
Ooh, the rating scale.
Yes.
The Lipton Soup scale.
Yeah. Number 1 is fucking race out, buy it, or on your app if you have the PlayStation app, buy it. Download it now. Number 2 is hold off until there's a sale, or again if it's gifted to you.
Yeah, find yourself a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
So get somebody to buy it for you.
Yeah. Do they make sugar daddies anymore? Remember those candy?
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah.
I was always a bigger fan of sugar babies because I would squish them just like hot tamales. I'd squish them before I ate them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the outside would always turn like white and cracky. Cracky. Crackly.
Cracky.
Cracky.
We are in Worcester.
We are. There's a lot of cracky in Worcester.
And number 3, like crack, just say no.
Just say no.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
And Brian, what did you rate this?
This game shocked me from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You know, every time I thought it couldn't get funnier.
Yeah.
Every time I thought that I might be losing interest in it, it always found a way to rope me back in.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned the power up system.
Yeah.
How it never took too long to get your next power up.
Yeah.
That's every time I got a new power up, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, this roped me back in the second I was losing interest.
Yep.
Again, the graphics I couldn't get enough of. The voiceovers were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even though this takes inspiration from 1,000 different games before, it's like no other game I've ever played. And because of that, the only reason you shouldn't play this is if you're easily offended.
Yeah.
Or you hate, the toilet humor.
Yeah.
And even then, that's not my kind of humor.
Yeah.
I still loved it.
Yeah.
Still giving it a 1.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
This was one of my biggest shocks of the year.
Wow.
A game I had no interest in became one of my favorites.
Sweet.
Yeah. What about you?
So, like you, at first, I didn't know much of the game, like most of them. So when I dove into it, and of course, when the main character, the enemy, Glorcon, when he says, I've shoved your dogs in my eyes, I'm fucking crazy. And I'm like, that's funny. I'm like, that's my humor. Like I just like stupid humor. I can laugh at any type of humor. So as I stopped playing it and the whole platforming aspect, I love platformers and the humor behind it. The, world was really nice and colorful. It wasn't overly done or too, detailed or anything like that. Right. But it worked for what the game was going for.
Yeah.
And I loved the puzzles. They weren't difficult, but they were there. They were pretty simple. But I think the dialogue, without a doubt, is what made this game so goddamn unique. Mm-hmm. It just was so seamless. Everything they said, what they were doing, and just ranting over and over as you just progressed. And I got to say, I was very surprised. I could not wait to get back and play it the second time after my first time.
Nice.
And how many VR games have I literally had to stop myself from playing to get to bed? Not many, because usually it's a thing. I'm playing it, now it's time to go to bed. But this one was like, fuck, I got to go to bed, and I don't want to. So I'm going for a 1 with this one because I thought it was great.
Nice.
I fucking laughed. I told people at work about it that don't give a fuck, So without a doubt, I think this is one of those, take out the app if you're not at home and purchase.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to see what else they do with the DLC.
Yeah.
Because the first batch of DLC, of course, with Trover's important cosmic jobs.
Now I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, it's feels like I said, kind of like a point and click adventure. They went a little bit of a different route.
Yeah.
Than I expected. I expected just to be, hey, here's another world where you run around and kill things.
Yeah.
And removing the ability to kill anything at all was like, oh, okay, this isn't going to be
total opposite.
Not an action DLC at all.
Yeah.
So. Is the next one going to be pure action and like not a lot of story? I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it makes me
whatever
really
they
curious.
think of that day, I guess, right?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I mean, hats off to Squanch Games.
Yeah.
Not this hat though. I'm keeping this hat on. Got my little ears and everything.
I can take this one off.
Oh, well, I can't take mine off.
Oh.
Mine's glued to my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the hair pulls away the glue.
Regrowing the hair. It looks weird in the process.
Yeah. Well, it's the ears.
I like the ears.
The extra ears.
I like the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you think this is a cat thing or you think this is a mouse thing?
Cat.
It's definitely a cat.
Totally a cat.
Good, because I wore it hoping it was like a game cat thing.
And
and then I looked in the mirror and I was like, that kind of looks like a mouse.
I wonder, I don't know. What would be different if it was a mouse?
I don't know.
Be the same whiskers, the same nose, the same ears. Maybe you could go both ways.
Some things go both ways. Jeremy, thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking about Trover Saves the Universe.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, make sure you let us know in the comments below what you think or what you thought of Trover Saves the Universe and, of course, about Trover's important cosmic jobs. Do you think it was worth the $30? Do you think it's a 1, 2, or 3? You let us know. Also, let us know what other games you want us to talk about. For the first time in a while, we actually don't have anything lined up for next week.
That's right.
So before you leave, we have to have that little discussion.
Figure out what's next.
We're going to go do that right now.
We'll do it while we're doing our exit talk when they're wondering, what are they really talking?
Are they really talking?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. We just point at each other and go, ha, ha, ha. For another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR, I'm Brian Paul.
And I'm Jeremy King.
And we'll see you next
week.